2023 Auburn University Marching Band. For your halftime entertainment, we celebrate the 43-year reign of the Speed Metal Kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage with the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Wednesday night is here again, and yes, after a long time off, it feels like Auburn Family Night is back. This is the show each and every week where you, the Auburn family, our audience, takes center stage. Your comments, questions, your topics, and calls, all that's coming up right now. Well, War Eagle, everybody, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, we discuss, we share in the Auburn experience, all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it, though, is if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing today here in our Auburn Family Night live discussion show. This is a show built by you, for you, the Auburn family, where you take center stage, where you dictate where we go, the topics, the comments, the questions, all of it. And to be honest with you, this is the show each and every week when we're able to do it each and every week, outside of some conflicts with some Auburn basketball, where I love to just kick back and go off of what you all want to discuss. So let's have some fun this evening. It has been a few weeks from that. Let's start off with welcoming everybody in, whether you are watching live on the replay, however you got here, whenever you got here. We appreciate you spending some time with us and being part of our little family within the Auburn family. Let us know that you're here. Some of you are already doing that with a War Eagle, however you'd like to greet everybody in the chat. Let everybody know that you're here. Let us know where you're watching from. That's a big thing as well. We like to see where everybody is checking in from across the country. We obviously have a lot of people from Alabama and Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, all those regular states in here, but we certainly want to hear from you if you're watching live, especially. Certainly you can let us know on the replay where you're watching, but especially live. So let me kind of catch you all up on what's been going on. As I've referenced in my intro, it's been probably 3-4 weeks maybe since we've had an Auburn Family Night. So maybe you all need just a little bit of a reminder about how this works and what we do here. We have in our title up here, football staff, basketball full swing, kind of telling you what's the most prevalent topics right now in the Auburn experience space. We can certainly dive into that, but it doesn't have to be about Auburn football or Auburn basketball. It doesn't have to be about Auburn sports. It can be about Auburn culture, Auburn family, basically wherever you want to go that's directly related to the orange and blue is where we're going to go. So sports, culture, family, you guys pick the topics. We will bounce around to 1,000 different things today and let you guys kind of pick where we're going to spend a lot of our time. We also have our live call-in link that is now available for you to call into. Wrong one there. Let me put that right there. It's always been at the top of the chat, but we're taking calls now. So you can start clicking in there. It's pinned at the top. All you got to do is click it. It'll ask you if you want to be on camera, off camera, and you can certainly take advantage of that. It's another element of the show that I enjoy. So we want to hear from as many of you as we can this evening about the topics that you want to discuss. So jump on into there as well. Got people checking in on YouTube, Facebook, all the different places. So good to see so many people here this evening. We'll get started with our first comment where we kind of go where you guys want. Stan says, I sure hope next season is much better. It feels like we've been saying that for a few seasons now. But yes, we are all hoping for that. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you make decisions you don't need to make 5 years ago. Y'all heard me say it before. I will continue to remind you, not to say I told you so, but just to remind you when the next time that you're sitting in a good position as a program and you're getting that itch and you're starting to build that angst for something, maybe we just step back and go, hey, you remember that time we said that 8-4 wasn't good enough? You know, I don't know. 8-5, 8-4, whatever. Listen, the reality is we're here to win championships. What's good enough is championships. But you know, also have to have outside of that conversation. You have to have some context-driven things there to certainly, you know, drive the conversation a little bit sooner. We got War Sooner checking in, or from Rhyming Lemon. Good to see you. Yes, Stan, it did not have to be this way. Pelham checking in. People from all across the land are checking into Auburn Family Night. Yeah, so WT, I know you checked in here a little bit late. Certainly, if you hear that one soundboy, I never said that it was good enough, but I said it is certainly better than what we are currently doing right now. And so sometimes you have to take a step back and go, you know, I may not like this individual or what the product that he is fully putting out there, but maybe the grass isn't green on the other side. Penn State's kind of learning that lesson right now. We'll see if that hire that they made works out for them. It's not really an Auburn topic, but just, you know, relating it back to. But I have a feeling that they will also suffer a little bit of the grass is, you know, definitely not greener on the other side of that situation. All right. So look, Auburn's football topics are out there. The football staff is starting to come together. Some retentions, a lot of new for Coach Golish, especially on the offensive staff. I believe, at least in an official capacity, we are only lacking running backs and wide receivers. Now, there have been reports out there, and Cody is on the staff and hasn't really been named outside of associate head coach. So we can talk about that, maybe speculate a little bit. Maybe I can lay it out for you guys what's currently out there for the most part. If y'all want to do that. That's probably the most important topic right now of getting that staff together. And then obviously, how do you keep most of the team together too? And then basketball is now the primary focus. It'll be a lot of that here on this channel. It doesn't mean there won't be plenty of football talk, but certainly basketball is going to take center stage here. I think most of you have heard me say this before. I enjoy talking about basketball the most because it's a small microcosm, more as opposed to football has like this, like nebulous effect that like affects everything. Basketball kind of is what it is, even when it's in its best. And so we'll be having a lot of post-game streams and things like that. Let's see here. This is Nick. Hopefully we'll get a better O-line play. We've been saying that a long time, haven't we, as well? We have had better O-line play at times. The problem is it's not been consistent, Nick. And I think you would agree with me on that, just looking at that. There's been some times where they have provided some great, running lanes, pass protection, but it's just not been consistent. Not even enough. It's just not been consistent at all. For the last 5 years. Some years it's just been consistently bad, but inconsistently good is what I would categorize the Auburn offensive line right now. We'll get to our first caller here in just a little bit. Let's see here. Unbeaten Lake says, let's be honest, we have not been the same since the 2020 Outback Bowl, all because Minnesota decided to making consistent impossible catches. I dated back before that, the Calvin Ashley offensive line, that seems like where that all started messing up. It was not good. Let's see here. 26-8 wins, 27. I'm not sure what that is, Stan, there, but we'll keep moving forward here. All right, he's been waiting enough in the green room, so we'll go ahead and let him in. You all can take advantage of the call-in link as well. So just click the link, come on in and get in line. And we'd love to hear from some of y'all this evening. Jump on in. Let's go on. What's going on, Kevin? Good to hear you.
I was at Mercer game, but I missed Tiger Walk.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing about that, Kevin. That game, they were incredibly early. Now, let me actually give you a little bit of information. So if you remember, that was senior day. So they usually put out when Tiger Walk is going to happen. Maybe I missed the announcement that it was going to be about 15 minutes early, but we were all standing there, those of us that made it on time and waiting, kind of starting to get ready about 15 minutes. Even the photographers that were there, like the official Auburn photographers too, for the most part, kind of were surprised. I thought from what it looked like to me that they were coming down early. So That is not your fault. They just decided, hey, we're going to be super early today. Maybe it was because of senior day. I don't know, but I'm glad you made it to the Mercer game.
Yeah, I have fun because Deuce Knott scored 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns? Was it 4?
Yeah.
Was it not? It was 6 touchdowns. I think he had 4 rushing and 2 throwing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, throwing. Cam Coleman caught one.
He did. Malcolm Simmons had a big day. Listen, that was the last time we were having fun, wasn't it?
Yeah,
wasn't that far away, but hey, that was fun.
I think you will see Auburn really good next season with the new head coach.
You are always our eternal optimist, and I love that about you. And I wish we all were a little bit more like you. But I hope you're correct. I think we need to give the new coach a little bit of time, as we always do. But hey, listen, right now the high water mark. To what?
Have he talked to his players yet to stay?
He's talked to a lot of the. He said in his press conference this week that he's gotten through the majority of the roster and conversations. I would imagine now, 2 days removed from that press conference, the majority, if not all of those conversations that were going to happen have already happened. So
I can't wait when Deshaun Spencer get to Auburn next season from Saraland.
Are you excited just because he's a local guy, or is there a reason you're excited about him?
Because he's fast.
He's fast. Okay, I haven't really watched any of his tape. He was a very late, addition to the class, so I didn't get a lot of time to know him. But I'm glad to hear that you at least like him.
Hey, when does Auburn men's basketball team play again?
Saturday. They're going to be playing here in Atlanta, or I'm not in Atlanta. I'm close-ish, but they're playing Chattanooga as part of the holiday Thanksgiving event. Yeah. Now Chattanooga, listen, most people will see the name and go, it's not going to be a good game or whatever. And I mean, Auburn should win, but Chattanooga's had some pretty good runs in recent times where they've been a pretty decent program. So I wouldn't just dismiss them out of hand right at the start there.
They got good. Auburn got good players this year in basketball.
They do, and certainly they have looked good at times. And then against the best of the best, they have struggled mightily. But that doesn't mean they're not a good team.
Keenshaw Hall, he's good.
Yeah, that's the understatement of the year. Yes, he has lived up to the hype and then some. I'm glad that his injury wasn't as extensive as maybe some of us feared at the time.
And hopefully, Tawad Pettiford will step up too.
Tahad's been stepping up on the road in a big way in neutral sites. When we don't play at Neville, Tahad Pettiford is just having, an outstanding big game every time, it seems like. Now, when he's at home, it's kind of based off of the standards that he's built for himself, kind of just average or a little bit less.
About the women's team.
You're impressed with them?
Yeah, they're doing good too.
So yeah, they've had a really good start to non-conference play. However, they ran into some at least bigger names and probably stiffer competition, and then they weren't able to get over the hump. A couple of overtime losses, but I certainly have been pleased with year one so far.
When do they play again?
I believe they're Sunday, so you got a Saturday Sunday thing. I think for the rest of the year, Kevin, you're probably going to have
look at my gloves.
Really, like one every. What's that there?
Look at my gloves.
Hold them back just a little bit. I think it says AU, right?
Yeah, Cam Coleman's gloves.
Do you have the other one that makes the full AU?
Yeah.
Can you got it on right now? Can you show it to us like that?
Yeah, try to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, don't hurt your camera now. I've asked a little too much, I think. There, okay. We can kind of make it out. Pull your hands back just a little bit. Back towards you. I can kind of make it out there, but there you go. That's some cool gloves, buddy. Love it.
Yeah.
It's nice to see.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody, I was at my high school field house, and somebody brought the Auburn gloves with them. They gave it to me for my birthday,
Well, that was very kind of them. So that's a great birthday present.
and they
Um,
said Cam Coleman gave it to me.
Well, that's pretty sweet right there. I love to hear that. It's a great story. I want a prediction from you, sir, before we end our time tonight. What's the first position that you think Coach Golish gets a commitment from in his first recruiting class, his first full recruiting class? Who's the first? Because right now it's empty. There's nobody in it. Everybody's decommitted. So who is the first commitment that we have in the 2027 class in terms of the position?
I
You don't have to
think
think of a name.
I think we will get Braylon Walmart back.
Well, he's already signed, and that's part of the 2026 class. So that's a done deal. That's over with. I was thinking 2020. I was saying, what position do you think that he'll get first in the 2027 class?
Quarterback.
Well, that would be 4 quarterbacks then. 2027, he wouldn't be there for another season, but we'll see. There certainly could be some room there, but it's a blank slate for him to get going on.
Could that KJ Lacey transfer to Auburn?
I think anybody could transfer that really wants to if they enter the portal or not. So you just never know, my friend. Well, buddy, it was good to see you. And I know it's been a minute since you've been able to call in because we haven't been doing this show with basketball conflicts, but we appreciate you doing so. Good to talk to you.
War Eagle. Bye.
War Eagle. Bye. It was our good friend Kevin. He's one of our regulars. We love to talk to him most every Wednesday night that we do these when we're able to do them. So you guys can take advantage of the call-in link as well. So just click on the link, get in line, and we'll let you in. You don't have to stay long. You can just ask a question, pop out. We can have a conversation, take me to task about something, whatever you want. It's your time. So take advantage of it while you have it. Let's see if there were things coming through in the chat. This is from Rhyming Lemon. Coach O from LSU said it best. Let's see here. It used to be that we walk in the back door with money for players. Now we walk through the front door. Yeah, I saw those quotes this week. Yet you're naive to think if you thought money wasn't exchanging for players, I've got some property I want to sell you in a floodplain. Is all I'll say about it. Like a real floodplain. If he keeps the roster, he doesn't get but 2 years. If not winning in year 2, need to move on. I disagree with that. We can't keep doing this whole move on thing. No matter what the circumstances are, outside of there's a scandal. There's just Ryan Harsin. I think everything had fallen apart. Like that was it's hard to defend any of that for him. But I think we have moved past the time where we need to keep bouncing from coach to coach. It's not going to solve anything. This is from WT. I think Auburn basketball will be just fine this year. We won't be the world beaters from last year, but we will be a tourney team. You can't be a Final Four every year. Well, only 4 make it. So, 300 something Division I teams. If you make the Final Four, that's a pretty impressive feat. Rhyming Lemon says, I expect the first skill position to get a commitment or transfer will be running back. That's a focus of your new coach. That is clearly what he stated in his opening press conference, which can we just all listen? I don't think there's very many Auburn fans out there that do prefer to, let me reverse my statement there. Make sure I'm not put too many double negatives. I believe the majority of Auburn fans would like to run the ball more effectively than they would pass the ball, meaning that would be our strength and what we do the majority of the time. Passing is fun. It gets all the highlights. It's, what people want to do in the NFL as well. But there's just something about Auburn and having a solid run game that just makes sense. So I think that may not be a bad prediction, Rhyming Lemon. But the class is completely wide open. The last one in it was Jalen Scott, and he decommitted with the coaching change, which is fair. Listen, I got no problem with coaching changes. People either decommitting for a time and coming back, or, either just going somewhere else. I mean, you don't. Hopefully, they're not coming for the coach, but it's not just about the coach leaving. It's about the system change. It's about what they thought they were going to be involved in, the way the program was going to be run a certain way, or something like that. So you can understand why that would happen. Let's see what else we got here. Auburn Family Night thought these were extinct. No, nothing's truly, well, most things are never truly extinct at E2C Network. So let me say it very clear here for Sam and for everybody else. Auburn Family Night is every Wednesday night outside of a schedule conflict. Schedule conflicts could be personal ones for me. Very few of those anticipated these days. I'll be honest with you. In fact, I can't get into a lot of the details here, and that's nothing bad, but just there's been a lot of stuff floating out there for us in our personal life that could just change our life at any time. And that's kind of settled down for the most part now, hopefully for a long, long time. So I don't anticipate Auburn Family Night having any issues from schedule conflicts on my end. But whenever we enter basketball season, you're either going to have a midweek game on Tuesday, Wednesday nights throughout the majority of the season, especially in SEC play. So when that happens, we will not have an Auburn Family Night. It's just no one's going to pay attention to the show if we're doing it during the middle or leading right up to the start of it, whatever it's going to be. So these are not extinct. They've always been here. It's just we have to be wise about how we utilize our time. This is from WT. I feel like the first transfer Golish will be the USF quarterback. Knows his offense already. Yeah, I think I was more asking about the 2027 class, since it's such a wide open slate. And I cannot remember for the life of me a time where this has happened. Even with some of our other transitions and head coaches we've made recently, we've kept we've kept some of the class together, and from the ones that weren't signed yet, but that already been building. They're not this one. This is so one of the things that he can say about that first class completely is he's having to do the legwork to convince people to come back in. All of that. You can't say that some of that's still left over from Hugh. Let's see here. Talking about passing and rushing, he just wants to be efficient, be efficient with both. You're going to have a strength, right? I think football teams that run the ball well tend to be better off, in my opinion. He says need to run 70% of the time. I think that's a bit much, but hey, listen, I won't complain. I'll call in from the jungle. Well, we will not be conflicting with an Auburn basketball game, so there won't be a way for you to call in from the jungle. But we that was a fun time. That happened one time for us. I think it was you, Sam, on TikTok or something like that. But yes, I do take every chance I can to cancel Auburn Family Night on you guys. I'm going to take it. No, listen, I truly do enjoy doing this show, because I don't say this like it's a dismissive thing, but it is the easiest show I do in terms of everything. It's just, it's relaxing for me. Like, this is just about us all having fun and having a conversation. So I appreciate you guys being here. All right. We got an next caller ready to roll, so we'll go ahead and get them in. If you want to, please take advantage of that call-in link up at the top on YouTube and Facebook, and you can get in line and be on camera, off camera. Here we go. Next caller, all the way. Where are you again? I forgot. What state are you actually in? Oklahoma?
So I'm born and raised from Oklahoma, but I currently live in just north of Corpus Christi.
Okay, so Texas. Yeah, okay, yeah. So what's it like being a Sooner fan in that part of the world?
So you're stuck between 1/3 Texas A&M, 1/3 Texas, unfortunately, and the rest of it's mixture between like Houston or the local colleges.
What about Rice? I know Rice is in Houston as well, right? So do you ever see them?
Yeah, they're like a ghost. You never see them.
I was in Houston for with my previous employment for a conference, and of course we saw Houston Cougars everywhere, and you'd see the other fan bases. And then I realized one day, wait, Rice is here. Why don't I see anything about them? And it's because it's Rice. Yeah, that's cool. What's on your mind tonight?
So, I'm in between moderating chats, and the panel that I'm supposed to be on is actually on hiatus for the night. So I figured I'd call and hassle you for a little bit and
hassle away.
help kind of give the expectations that we saw whenever we went through the sudden head coach change. Everybody goes, oh well, you need to have a strong run game, or you need to have a strong, name it. So
Sure.
you're correct. It's whatever the system is that the offensive coordinator is going to come in, and what the defensive coordinator is going to come in. Now, with keeping DJ, you guys are I believe you're on really good footing defense wise.
I would agree.
The other part of it, though, is Golish has had a really good offensive scheme, but he is a more stable run first. You have to be in today's college football landscape. You have to be somewhat balanced, but one side has to be able to open up the other. The only exception to the rule that I've seen this year has been Bama, and they have zero run game, and
which is weird.
That's all of that is on Ty Simpson. Like Ty's ability to read his progressions is unparalleled. But you also see once he gets put in the blender, he is human. He will make mistakes very easily.
Yeah.
With Golesh, though, proven in USF, proven in North Texas, he runs first to open up the pass. So expect your quarterback to be able to read progression, but more of an RPO like a Jeff Lebby.
Okay. That's a pretty good perspective. I appreciate you sharing that because, I've certainly tried to do a little bit of digging into what this is going to look like. But I think sometimes we, as fans, are kind of we're looking for certain things and don't let them kind of form what they're going to be when they're here at Auburn, what the personnel they have. And even Coach Golish said in his press conferences, is like, yeah, I have a way I like to do things on offense, and my OC and I have a lot, but you got to evolve. And so I think that's an encouraging thing. One of the things that is a frequent criticism of like Gus Malzahn, and I think to a degree there was some of that with Hugh too, is that they got quote unquote stuck in their ways. I disagree with that a little bit, that actually was going on, but I can certainly see why people would have that opinion. But there you have it. There's your head coach right now acknowledging that you can't just be so focused on this is how it's going to be. You've got to be ready to switch and evolve at a moment's notice and be dynamic as an offense, which is frankly what's Auburn's been lacking that for quite some time, if we're honest.
Well, you look at the SEC historically. The one thing that the SEC brags about being the best about is winning the trenches. They're always going to your defensive line has always got to be top notch. Your offensive line has got to be just this mountain of 300-pound, as one of my my favorite guys, of pure man. And you just laugh at it, but at the same time, where did OU win this season for the majority? That defensive line.
Yep.
Right? Everybody's going into mass protect to try to save their quarterbacks. Georgia started to work the same way. Now, Auburn was that way.
Sure.
I mean, even through the OU game, you talk about, okay, is the run game opening up? No, the run game's not opening up because the linebacker steps up and knows his slot to sit into. So that's why I said, with keeping DJ around, you guys have a proper core. And I didn't see that much transferring out, like intention, letters of intention to drop out from your defensive core group.
Right.
So returning there, especially on your line, you're in good hands.
Yeah, and I think that's a great thing why Coach Golish is going to be off to he's going to have a foundation to work from that's a lot more stable than Coach Freestad. And I'm not saying that to say that, like, we should still give Hugh credit or something like that for what he was. I think you should give him credit, I guess, for what he was able to do in rebuilding things back up talent wise. But he's retained DJ, as you said. That gives you one side of the ball that, in essence, is not going to change outside of a few personnel that he's brought in for his defensive staff. That means Golish has, and I'm sure they've worked together on that. So when you're going to have a complete change on offense, you're going to have one side that's pretty stable. And like you said, to my knowledge, there has not been, from the core group of defenders that have played this season, many transferring out. Certainly graduations, but I believe Xavier Atkins, I don't know if you watched him on our defense, he was the superstar, first team all SEC. I think he openly said, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here. I mean, like I don't get very many things right in terms of predictions, which is why I don't make a ton of them. But if you'll go back when Xavier Atkins was, he was in the portal last time and Auburn picked him up, I said, there's something about this guy. And what it really was the SEC experience. And look, I know you're in the SEC now too, so you get it at least to some degree, but obviously we got a little high and mighty about ourselves. But to me, the speed, and whether, even if it's Big Ten, like there's certain conferences that just do it better than everybody else. When you've been in, even as a freshman, just participating in practices, you understand the speed, the power, all of that in those type of confidence. And I think that translated out. Talent has to be there too, but the experience that he had, I think, really translated out here onto the field this year. I don't know how I got onto a Xavier Atkins rant there, but yeah, to circle back to your point, Auburn's defense is at least secure. And I think that's something we can hold on to.
So my expectations, and this is more for news press releases and the recruiting class. I think you're going to see more recruiting class and transfer portal adjustments, announcements whenever the transfer portal hits, but majorly on the offensive side. You're going to see, obviously you're going to pick up a quarterback, but I'm not sure that's the first. I expect the offensive line, like going and trying to find some depth and competitive. We have a tradition. If you ever say competitive depth, you pick up a drink and you have yourself a drink. So I feel like you guys are going to get some competitive depth on the offensive line,
which we need.
But then you're going to get a high paid, I hate to put it that way, but a high paid running back that's going to have some notoriety to him, a little bit of moxie that comes in with his notoriety. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that running back ends up doing you guys a lot of justice.
Now, what's interesting about your prediction there is we've got Jeremiah Cobb returning. Now, Jeremiah certainly it took him Damari leaving this in the middle of the season to finally get his full time and effort. But when he showed he showed he can be the feature back. But the issue is going to be, you're down Damari, who under the portal is not coming back. Darrell Robinson has been plagued by injuries his whole career, so you just don't know when he's going to be able to do anything. You got Omar Mabson, who is a reclassified guy. I think he's now just barely 18 years old, and he'll be a sophomore. So you still got a space open for another feature back of sorts. And if you're moving to an offensive system that, whether it's going to end up being that way or not, has been said by the head coach, hey, we're looking to utilize the run first to set everything else up. That means more carries to go around. And then, so you might be right. Another feature back to kind of complement Jeremiah Cobb, maybe a guy with a little bit more power, a traditional power or build or something like that. Jeremiah Cobb has really developed himself in terms of his size since he's been here, but there's still those, you fit into an archetype as a running back, no matter how much you kind of develop yourself. So it might be a good prediction. We'll see if it holds true.
Yeah. The other part is as you get past year 2, you're going to keep seeing a particular body type. It's not even so much a skill set, a body type that Golesh or a head coach is going to try to get into. Now, the question I have, and you'll have to forgive my ignorance.
It's fine.
Did the GM get turned over just as much along with the head coach?
Yes. So Will Redmond was our GM previously. I'm blanking on his name at this moment. Warsaw, I believe, is the GM now. It's his guy. The support staff, at least the bigger positions, look to be the one almost a complete changeover from what I've seen thus far. There's been a lot of names I'm having to get used to. So,
From what I've seen on the teams that are staying successful, is that GM will step into a larger recruiting and evaluation role
yeah.
going forward. Now, you have to wonder just how well of an evaluator is. You're not going to have someone like, say, Thad Turnipseed that made Dabo Sweeney and Nick Saban, kind of like the kingmaker kind of personality. I have a feeling it's going to be more of like what OU did with Jim Nagy, which is find the person that is really good at evaluation, and then let them decide what the money trail is and how that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, the
Yeah.
other thing before I hop off
Go ahead.
here and quit hassling you is
You're good.
I need to know from an Auburn fan that doesn't peddle in the rumors. Was it true that Hugh Freeze threw Jackson Arnold under the bus?
So if you watch the interview, um, you're going to read it however you want to read it. Basically, if you're someone that already hates Hugh Freeze, you're going to read it as that. He says at the very beginning, I think I don't have the wording exactly correct, so forgive me. You can go look it up for yourself. This isn't about beating up on Jackson Arnold. And then he goes on to say that essentially the decision to bring him here may have been and utilize him before anybody else could have been part of his downfall. So you listen, does it, if you read into all that, and does it sound like he's blaming Jackson on? Sure, but he also said at the beginning of that, I'm not blaming the kid. He's just answering questions. What I find interesting is that, there was already a story or two out there about that's all Hugh does. There's a remember Bo Wallace at Ole Miss. He really showed his tail on social media a lot, and I think you probably chuckle because you kind of know a little bit what I'm talking about, probably.
Just a little.
It's just people are just wanting their biases confirmed, and so they're going to read into whatever it is. Would I have chosen to say the way he said it? No, but I understand what he's trying to say because I don't come in with a bias towards him trying to nitpick and see this guy is trying to blame anybody. In fact, the guy that interviewed him, Justin Hokanson, one of longtime beat writers for Auburn, I thought he did an outstanding job being very honest and frank, and especially in his line of questioning throughout the entire interview. And Justin has said some very, forward things online, which as media people do, right? So it's another one of those times I feel like the headline is bigger than the actual statement. But unfortunately, as I've discovered with what you just asked about, most people just read the headline and don't do the research.
Yeah, well, we the OU beat writers and all that saw that, and we half of us laugh, the other half go, at least they're not saying OU threw them back under the bus. Because we're used to being the people that, okay, no, the root cause was the crazy guys in a state that look like it's a pot.
By the way, what happens in the handle of that pot?
All right, so there's some interesting history up there. Oklahoma, believe it or not, Oklahoma actually has like all four climates in it. There, up in that area, there's actually some desert area up in that. We call it the Little Sahara.
Okay.
And take our we're rednecks, so that's the way it goes. We take our four-wheelers up there with the scoop wheels and do some really stupid stuff. But there's actually some really small towns up there, one of which named Hooker after General Hooker, as in those Hooker's girls, or now you know where the term comes from. That was where he predominantly stayed, was where he made his homestead there.
The more you know.
But for the most part, it's really just the little strip of land that Texans West Texans go through to get to Colorado.
Yeah. I kind of figured that's what it's just another point of, I don't even know if stopping is the right word, but just something you pass through.
Unless you live there, you rarely get hear about anything up there.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard somebody ask that before, like what actually happens in this part of the state. So I just wanted to pick your brain on that tonight with about a little bit about that. Well, it's always,
and not to throw shade, but I will tell you the most boring drive in the United States is not across the desert of Nevada or anything to get to California. It is Kansas. Kansas is literally the flattest state in the United States.
yeah.
And it's either, oh, hey, there's a wheat field, or hey, there's a cow, nothing else.
See, we get called cow college here, but at least we have the rolling plains to kind of look at. We got a little bit of, something different, at least when it rolls through the cow pastures or whatever. But it's always good to talk to you.
Thank you for letting me hassle you again. I'll catch you again.
Good to talk to you, man. All right. Awesome. We've had 2 great callers so far. So we still have plenty of time here for you to take advantage of our call-in link. It's right up at the top of the chat. So don't be shy. Jump on in here. I don't bite too hard. As you can see, even not posing, I guess I should say, other fan bases like to call in here too. So you guys are welcome to as well. See some Bama fans that once again, we live rent free in, are in the chat, but as long as you're here in good faith, we're all good to hang out and talk a little bit tonight, no matter who your fan base is this evening. All right, we dove into a little bit there of the Golish offense and his opinions about what may or may not be a priority in terms of transfer portal recruiting and scheme. So that was a little bit of something maybe that some of y'all found interesting right there. We haven't really spent a lot of time on the staff outside of Ryman Lemon talking about Durkin being retained. Vontrell King Williams has been retained. It looks like Wesley McGriff, Coach Wesley McGriff, is not going to stay. He posted today about passing the torch to his protege, DeMarcus Van Dyke, I think is. I'm trying to get everybody's name in my head straight. It takes me a minute, but he is the next one going to be taking over for corners, and that's what Wesley McGriff did. With TJ Rushing is not coming back, it looks like, based off reports. So really right now, and then there was a defensive assistant brought in, but with no title yet by one of the announcements. So I would guess that he's probably going to go to that safety position, because really, let me just lay it out for you as I understand it based off of official, and I'll try to do the officials and the speculation. Official head coach, Alex Golish. Quarterbacks, offensive coordinator. Again, I got to get my list out because of the names. I tried my best to do them in my head, but it's just not gonna. It's not gonna go well tonight if I do it that way. Where is my list? I think we got it right here. Maybe. Yes, I think so. There we go. All right, I got it now. All right, so let's do that. Here's the list as we currently stand here on a Wednesday night. The hires, the staff, as is head coach Alex Golish. We have got offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Joel Gordon. You have run game coordinator and offensive line coach Tyler Hudenick, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. That means that there has been no running backs coach, tight ends coach, and wide receiver coach named at this point. Speculation. Heard they saw online today that Cam Martin was potentially going to be attached to running backs. Cody Burns is going to be on the staff, at least I think the title that coach said was associate head coach. Usually you have a specialty. Wide receivers is what he played in the latter part of his season. It's what he's done before. It would make sense, but that means that Marcus Davis won't be here anymore, which is kind of sad. Or could he take over tight ends? Now, Coach Golish has had history of focusing on tight ends, so maybe that's how that works out too. So there's some room within those 3 things right there. Defensive staff, DJ coordinator, DJ Durkin, defensive coordinator. Then you've got linebackers, which is what's going to be his focus. Vontrell King Williams, full defensive line, which used to be called just the interior defensive line. Now it's full defensive line. Today we got the hire for, and I'm trying to make sure I get his name correct on here. It's not coming up on here right now. Here it is. Coleman Hutzler, who is going to be your edge guy. Again, I think it's weird that we've gone to call in. There's an edge coach now. So you've got the defensive line, the edge, and the linebackers. Cornerbacks is going to be DeMarcus Van Dyke, taking over for Wesley McGriff based off his own thing. So that really leaves that defensive assistant that was brought in, Brad Wilson, which the only spot left is safeties. So, and it's special teams. There's reports out on an individual, I think, that's going to be taking that role. So really that is your offensive staff, defensive staff, special team staff. And then there's a ton of the GM we talked about with Rhyming Lemon, others, director of recruiting, all that kind of stuff. You can look all those names up if you want to. That's kind of where we sit at with the staff at this moment, Wednesday evening, 9:45 Eastern time. Things are going to change rapidly, and they've been doing announcements every single day this week, pretty much. Or at least said they were going to be coming along. So who knows what the next one is going to be in. Some retention, some brand new ones coming over with Coach Golish. That is your Auburn staff update, if I have to give it to you. All right, what sticks out to you from that? Do you have preferences? I mean, do you have anybody have any opinions about who it should be for the ones that are open? Running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. We can assume safeties is still open, although I would say Brad Wilson's going to probably be that if I'm not mistaken. So if you got any opinions about that, please do let us know. We'd love to hear what you guys think. A little bit of a shout out for Mr. Lemon. It's good people like his call-ins. Yeah, see, seems like we can get some of our other regulars to call in. WD. You're due for another one, my friend. And Stan as well. This is O-line coach played against Auburn in the 2017 bowl game. Look at a little bit of factoid being brought out by Stan. Now, previously, I did these video series where I would look in and do the top 10 facts about each of these guys. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know that I'm going to have the time for that, but we might do something a little bit, related down the line, something like that. We're going to let these kind of all come in and let things settle out. But we went from having a staff that was, basically it was a head coach and Cody Burns and then DJ Durkin to now it's very quickly kind of coming together. So we'll see if there's any more things there. The Auburn ties to the staff. I guess you count Vontrell King Williams, but Cody, that's about it. So you wonder if there's room for another Auburn guy to come in and continue to help sell the program, like a Cam Martin. Some people would try to say bring Cadillac back. Wide receivers, it looks like it'll probably be either. I bet it's going to be either Cody or Marcus Davis. Tight ends and special teams sometimes get lumped together, but maybe Coach Golish just handles that himself with his history. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at on that. All right, what else do you all want to talk about? Gotten a little bit quiet in the chat here. I know it's been a minute since we did Auburn Family Night, but basketball, football, non-sports stuff, Auburn experience stuff. What do you got? Put it in the chat. While you're thinking about some of those things and maybe taking advantage of the call-in link before we head out of here this evening, let me do your reminders for your scheduled content here. Keep in mind, we have 2 scheduled shows each and every week outside of conflicts. That's going to be Wednesday and Sunday nights, but let's roll through the whole thing here. Your next one, Saturday, I think it'll be roughly 6:30 is what I have it set for currently. The watch page is already up on YouTube if you want to go ahead and like that page so you can get a notification for it's live or when we go live. Auburn versus Chattanooga, playing in Atlanta State Farm Arena. Holiday Hoops Giving. We'll break it down, talk about it. And that'll hold us over till we get to a big matchup with Purdue in Indianapolis. But the next post-game show, we'll be doing those all season. So join us for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sunday night, 9 Eastern time, the Auburn Experience live recording episode 154 is going to be coming your way with Austin and myself. We'll have plenty to talk about. Something we didn't even, we'll come back on the other side here. Tomorrow night, we're going to know the SEC scheduled dates for 2026 football. So we'll be discussing that most likely, and then these updates on staff for football as well. So it could be a little bit of a football heavy show, but there'll be plenty to talk about as always. And I want to encourage you to take a look at our friends at Alumni Hall. They are somebody we partner with as an affiliate. I can put their link in the chat if you want to go there and buy something during the holiday season to support them and support us. It's very much appreciated. That's the Alumni Hall link for you guys. And then we'll also give you all the links you need for everything E2C Network related, the social media, the email, everything that you can need is in that link tree. Check it out. And you can check out all the different things that we have for you guys there. Okay, let me get off this page here. There we go. We're back. Hello. What do we got here in the chat to round out the show? So WT, I think I've mentioned this previously. I don't know if I have. Are we calling Jordan Hare the Gulag like we call the jungle? So I am not a fan of oversensitivity and people just, trying to be over and sometimes be offended for others. But I think it's important in this scenario to make sure that's something that he wants to be joked about, because it's not a good situation that he came from. If you know his story about his family leaving Russia, it's fun. It's cute. It probably gets said a lot. And I wonder if it's something that he actually values. So I'm going to kind of go off of Coach's play there and see what he leans into or doesn't lean into. Let's see here. JHS was referred to as the jungle during the Tuberville era. Well, listen, you can just say the jungle in general when you come to Auburn, right? Like it is what it is. I know the basketball arena is essentially the jungle, but yeah, I mean, you're coming to a place where tigers are. You're coming to the jungle, is what it is. And I do remember a lot of that, like marketing. Like I had a T-shirt that had the tiger eyes in the jungle grass or whatever. So there was a lot of that out there. So all that to say, whatever. That's the easy pickings for when we like to make slogans and names off of players. Freeze warning, all that kind of stuff off of people's names. We got to come up with something else. The only other thing that I've come up with, let's go Lesh or something like that. What an interesting little rhyme right there. All right. We have a few minutes left in the show. So what else? What else do y'all want to talk about? Drop it into the chat. There are a few other things. Oh, well, while you're thinking about those things, any predictions for what the schedule will look like next year for the SEC schedule? Let me see if we can have a little fun with this right now. I'm going to pull the 2026 schedule up. What do you guys think about how it's going to all lay out? So I'm looking at FBS schedules right now, and currently Auburn is scheduled to play all of its non-conference in the first 3 weeks. So that's Baylor, Southern Miss, Jacksonville State. I didn't realize they were coming back. Wow. So once again, one team in the state continues to be not afraid to play other teams in the state. I'm just saying. It's kind of what's interesting if you look at it. Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, LSU, Vanderbilt, at Georgia, at Mississippi, at Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, LSU, Vanderbilt, at Georgia, at Mississippi State, at Ole Miss, at Tennessee. I'm gonna take a stab at this real quick. Alabama will be the last game. Georgia is probably going to be that fifth or fourth, probably that fifth game. So that the first or second week of October, maybe first week of October. It would not shock me with Auburn having 3 straight home games if our first away game is at Georgia in the first week of October. So I'm going to throw that prediction down right now. Auburn and Georgia, first week of October, because you've got Baylor, Southern Miss, Jacksonville State. Then we would be in October. So I'm going to say Georgia, at Georgia. I'm going to say then we come back and take on they're going to make it difficult for us, aren't they? We come back and take on Florida. Then we go on the road We're going to go back to back on the road, probably to like at Tennessee and at Mississippi State. Then we'll come back for LSU and Vanderbilt. And then we'll have like Arkansas, Ole Miss, and then probably Ole Miss to Arkansas. Anyway, yeah, there's kind of a prediction if you want to run with that. I don't know if I could do it again, to be honest with you, but there you go. Let's see what you guys were saying. So yeah, Oklahoma's not on the schedule. It's Tennessee and Florida. Yes, there's an ESPN special tomorrow night, 8 p.m. I potentially will be doing a live stream tomorrow about that. I didn't announce it in the planned content because it's kind of something I started thinking about today. So that might be something to put on y'all's radars, those of you that are regulars here. That would probably go live right after Auburn's was officially complete. So if that was early in the show, we could do it then. If it was later, we'd do it right after that. Not an official statement of what to look forward to tomorrow, but I'm thinking about doing it. And it'll just be a reaction stream. Like, here's the schedule layout. What do you think? So either way, we're going to talk about it on the Auburn Experience show because we'll then have had several days to digest that. And that will complete your 2026 schedule. 9 SEC games, 3 non-conference games. And you'll have an idea of what the season's going to look like. I just hope they do not give us 4 or 5 straight home games. I would much rather be our first SEC game on the road at Georgia than have 4 or 5 home games in the sweltering heat of Alabama to start off the football season. You've already got 2, I guess I should say. I think I said that wrong earlier, at home. 1 is now a neutral site game, so that's a little bit better. But maybe that actually alters the way the schedule lays out now after that. I think it's something that a lot of people would be interested in. So that's why I'm considering that. I was even telling my wife earlier, just talking about this, they always wonder once football season's done, does it really slow down? And it does, but we'll take the opportunity to do things like that when we can do that. It would be interesting stream. Plus you'll have content to talk about Austin by Sunday. Absolutely. We're going to have that, hires, basketball updates. Now, I know everybody's not going to be excited about the Chattanooga game, but we'll probably do that as just like a small potpourri segment and not a full basketball week segment because, it is what it is at this point. Final thoughts, final questions, final comments. We are at 10 o'clock, but I started a minute or two late. So if there's anything left on the table, if there's any more meat on the bone, drop it into the chat here live, and we will finalize our conversation this evening. We have talked about the football staff. We have talked about basketball team, the SEC schedules. We got into some various conversations with our different callers tonight. So we have had a very full, well-rounded show, finally returning after what felt like a really long time, but I think it was 3 weeks of not doing Auburn Family Night. We had a basketball game, a holiday, a basketball game, and then I think that's actually how it laid out, which kept us away from you guys. But the goal is to do a Auburn Family Night show every Wednesday night outside of schedule conflicts, which basketball will do that several times this season. I'm going to try to look ahead and anticipate some of that too, so we're not catching ourselves off guard, or at least I'm not catching myself off guard as much as like I did last season. So, all right, guys, we're going to call it a show. Thank you so much for being here and having a good Auburn Family Night with us. We appreciate you being here, being part of our little family within the Auburn family. And as we go, I want to remind you of these things. The Auburn Creed asks you to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. We ask you to do the same. Or